A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
Don't be scouting me.
I fix you this time. You're doing fool with Beppo anymore, Major.
Stop it, Beppo. You'll really hurt the Major.
Let him go, Beppo. This has gone far enough.
It's none of your business, Johnny.
It is my business when murder is being committed. Now stop. Think what you're doing.
Please let him go, Beppo.
Help? Have you had enough?
Of course he has. Now be sensible, Beppo. Help the Major out of that tub.
I'll help you, Major.
I think you listen to Beppo next time.
I'll
Shut up. I give you more.
Now, take it easy, Beppo.
There you are, Major. Here's my handkerchief. Wipe your face.
Thank you, Jerry. My eyes, how they burn.
Well, it's just the soap water. They'll be all right.
Yes, you will live, but you won't forget Beppo.
Let him alone now. You better get over to your tent and get into some dry clothes, Major. Can you get over there by yourself?
Yes, I can.
I should say you two are acting like children. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
It wasn't my fault, Johnny. I tell you, he had it in for me.
Now, wait a minute, Major. We saw the whole thing. Jerry and I were standing right over there by that wagon. And it seems to me you made an awful fuss about getting a few drops of water splashed on you.
That's right.
All I said was it's a pity a person can't walk across this lot without getting wet.
You make a big mouth about little water, so I give you lots of water.
To tell you the truth, I think you both are at fault. You men let your tempers get the best of you too easily. Now, why don't you forget it all and shake hands?
Me? Shake hands with that demon? I'll get even yet. Don't forget next week, Beppo.
Beppo, no forget. Beppo's sorry for the poor Major next week.
Now, Major, now, Beppo.
I'm no mad. I shake hands.
See, Major, Beppo's willing to make up and forget.
Come on, Major. There's no use you two being enemies. Shake hands now and forget it, and try to control your tempers in the future.
Well...
Go on, Major.
All right.
I'm sorry it happened, Major.
I guess I was a little hasty. Maybe it was all my fault.
Your fault? No. It was my fault.
No, Beppo. I'm to blame. It was my fault for kicking about a few drops of water.
I tell you it was my fault.
No, it was my fault.
Beppo knows. I tell you I am to blame.
It was not your fault. I am to blame.
Gentlemen. Here. Is this starting all over again? Now, you better get over to your tent and get into some dry clothes, Major. Why, the midway is about to open.
Oh, all right. Goodbye, Beppo. I'm sorry, but remember next week.
Okie dokie, I'm sorry too, Major. We no fighting no more. Not until the next week, anyway.
Golly, it's getting late. I got to get over to the horse stand and help Whitey. Say, what have they got up their sleeves?
I don't know, Jerry, but I wouldn't worry about it. You run along, but not a word about this to anybody. Do you hear?
You mean about Major Mite and Beppo fighting?
It isn't good business to carry stories around the lot.
Well, I won't say a word.
Good boy. I guess I'd better get ready, too. Well, so long, Beppo. And we won't say anything to anybody about this.
That's good. Goodbye.
I gotta hurry now. See you later.
Right, Jerry. I'll see you after the show.
Hey, boy! Where's the fire?
There's no fire.
Somebody chasing you?
No, I'm just in a hurry.
Oh.
I'm late.
Yeah, I'll say you're late, Jerry. What's been holding you up?
Golly, I'm sorry, Whitey.
Must have been something awful interesting to make you late. You've never done this before.
I just forgot, I guess.
Well, it's all right, Jerry. No harm done. In fact, there's not a whole lot for you to do.
I won't be late again.
Oh, forget it. Come on into the tent.
Have the horses all got enough water?
Yeah, I think so. I'll tell you what you might do, though.
What?
How about you brushing Splendor down a little?
Why?
No particular reason. He's a little dusty since you've been riding him around a lot the last few days. Besides, I think he'd like you to brush him down.
Okay, I'll do it.
I'll get the horses out for the pageant, all right.
Say, Whitey.
Yeah, Jerry?
What's this horse's name?
That one there is Bella. She works in the statue act.
Yeah, I know, and she sure can't hold still, can't she?
Yep, one of the best I've ever seen for that line of work.
She's pure white, too.
Well, almost.
Well, what do you mean, almost?
Oh, I have to touch her up and cover up a couple of dark spots.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Say, how do they ever teach a horse to hold still like Bella does in the act?
Well, Jerry, I guess the horse has to have that in her from the start. And, of course, a little sugar at the finish of each trick helps to keep him steady.
When do they get the sugar? When they're all through work?
No. You've seen the statue act, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, you notice the ringmaster blows a whistle, and then the curtain goes up, and then the two men, the two girls, and the dog and Bella here strike a pose and hold real still for about a minute.
Yeah?
Well, then the ringmaster blows a whistle again, and the curtain goes down.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's when Bella gets that piece of sugar, when the curtain goes down between each trick.
Oh, so that's how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
She holds real still because she knows she'll get the sugar.
That's it, exactly. But it's not as easy as it sounds. Oh, it took a lot of training.
I guess it did. She holds so still you can hardly see her breathe.
And the funny part of it is that Bella used to be a fire horse.
No.
Yep, that's what she was, all right.
I bet if someone rang a bell while she was holding still in the act, she'd start to run.
No, she wouldn't. Not now. You see, Jerry, when they first started to train her to hold still, they'd get her up in a pose, and then they'd try to get her excited. They'd have dogs bark at her, and they'd shoot guns off, yes, and even ring bells until she got used to all that and paid no attention to it.
The more I hear about horses, the smarter I think they are.
No, they're smart animals. Yes, sir. There's no two ways about it. I guess with patience, you can teach a horse to do most anything. Why, I wouldn't be surprised if you could teach a horse to... Uh-oh, there goes the bugle. I better get these trappings on the parade horses right now. I nearly forgot it was showtime standing here talking to you.
Okay, I'll brush Splendor now. Hello there, Splendor. Want to get a good brushing? Kind of glad to see me, aren't you? Oh, still now, Splendor. You know, Splendor, I think you're going to be a wonderful trick horse when you grow up. Yes, sir. Folks will be talking about you someday like we were talking about Bella. Only they won't be talking about how still you hold. No, siree. They'll be saying, there goes Splendor, the great high jumper.
Well, they can start the show any time now. I'm all ready.
It doesn't take you long to get the horses ready.
Whew. What's the matter? You getting tired?
Just winded.
Don't work so hard. You don't have to get Splendor ready before the show. Why, you're going at that brushing like you only had 5 minutes to do it in.
Maybe someday I will be getting Splendor ready to go out into the ring.
Yes. When he learns a few tricks, he'll want to show off. You want to get out there with the rest of the horses and get some of that applause.
I bet he'll get a lot of applause, too.
He sure will. Well, here comes the hustlers now, and the show's about to start. I'll see you later, Jerry.
Okay. Now I'll brush your neck, huh? Well, we can't do with that old rope around it, can we? Here, now, I'll take it off. I don't know why you have to be tied up anyway. You're not going anyplace, are you? There we are. That feels better, huh? Poor little fella, tied up all the time. Now give your neck a good brushing. There they go, Splendor, out to do the parade. Oh, you like to be going out under the big top with them, huh? Oh, Splendor. Take it easy now. You're not going with them. Oh, still. How can I brush you? Oh, here now. Where are you going? Sure, I better put that rope back around your neck. Splendor, come here. Splendor, don't follow those horses. Hey, wait! Come back, Splendor! Golly, he's going to follow all those horses into the ring if I don't catch him. Whoa, Splendor! Come back here! Whoa, Splendor!
What's the matter, Jerry?
Oh, Mr. Bradley, Splendor just ran into the ring with the rest of the horses.
You mean that little colt has gone into the parade?
Yeah, he ran away from me and followed the other horses. I saw him run right after them through the back door here.
Well, come on, let's have a look.
Oh, golly, look, there he is running right after the Arabians.
He's pretty excited, too. Oh, that little colt isn't used to all those lights and the music. Oh, where's Whitey?
Oh, I don't know, but golly, what'll I do?
You better find Whitey, Jerry, or get someone to go in there and grab Splendor and take him out of that ring before the elephants go around. Well, he's too little to be in there loose. Someone should be leading him.
I know it, but golly.
Look, Jerry.
What?
He's stopping now.
And he's turning around and coming the other way. Oh, Mr. Bradley.
Then here come the elephants now, and he's heading right for them.
They might hurt him. Why doesn't somebody save him?
I guess no one has noticed him yet.
I'm going in there and get him myself. I've got
Be
to.
careful, Jerry. Don't run out there in front of those elephants. Jerry, come back.
I've got to save Splendor.
What's the trouble,
Oh,
Johnny?
it's Jerry. Just look at that boy run out in front of that herd of elephants.
He's trying to head off that little colt.
Yes, he's got him. He's got him. Good boy, Jerry.
Look at that boy. He's jumped up on that pony and he's riding him off in front of the elephants. And bareback, too.
I've seen a lot of sights around the circus, but never a thrill like this.
Listen to that audience. Why, they think it's part of the show. Say, that boy is all right.
That's a boy, Jerry.
Oh, Splendor, take it easy.
Oh, good boy, Jerry. Good boy. You took an awful chance, but I guess it was worth it, eh? Here, I'll help you down.
Splendor was heading right for the elephants. Did you see him?
You bet we did. We saw a mighty fine piece of work. You running in there just in time and getting Splendor out of that way. Why, it took a lot of nerve, Jerry.
Shucks, that was nothing. I couldn't stand here and see Splendor get hurt.
Why, you took an awful big chance of getting hurt yourself, boy.
And maybe killed.
Yeah, you must think an awful lot of that pony to do what you did.
I do.
I wonder if Mr. Randall was in the house to see it.
Golly, you don't think he was, do you?
Well, I don't know, Jerry.
I know I shouldn't have gone into the ring, but somebody had to do something. Golly, Splendor, why did you run after those horses? If you'd behave yourself, this wouldn't have happened.
Well, it's too late to talk about it now, Jerry. It's all over.
I wonder what Whitey will say. I guess I shouldn't have untied Splendor.
Uh-oh. Here comes Whitey now.
Golly.
Jerry!
Yes, sir?
Now, what on earth happened?
Gee, Whitey, I'm awful sorry.
All right. But come on now, Jerry. Tell me what happened.
Well, I untied Splendor's holler so I could brush his neck, and, well, when he heard the other horses going out, he ran after him, and I tried awful hard to stop him. Honest, I did.
He did a swell job of getting that colt out of the way of those elephants, Whitey.
Yeah, that's what the boys tell me.
I didn't think Splendor'd run away. I thought he'd just stand still and let me brush him.
There's no telling what a spirited colt like Splendor will do, Jerry. That's why I keep him tied up all the time.
It'll never happen again, Whitey, honest.
Well, I should hope not. Now, you better get Splendor tied up in a tent again. This is no place for him standing here by the back door.
Yes, sir.
I'll have to make a report of this to Mr. Randall.
Aw, gee, Whitey.
Sorry, Jerry. But orders is orders. Go on, get over to the horse top now with that colt. He's had enough excitement for one day.
Come on, Splendor.
Countdown for blastoff. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire! From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 would-be worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. Tonight, the science fiction classic, Knock, by Frederick Brown. Tonight we have a strange story to tell. A sweet, blood-curdling little story that is really only 2 sentences long. The last man on earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door. What's that?
Good morning, man.
What? Who are you?
You have regained consciousness.
Who are you?
I am Zan.
I'm still asleep, I must be.
You are not asleep.
Maybe if I close my eyes, it'll go away.
I will not go away, man.
No. I guess I'm awake. What are you?
I am a Zan.
What's that?
A Zan is intelligent life.
Look, I don't... What happened? Where are you from?
From Planet 7 in the 3rd galaxy in the 4th quadrant.
Where?
It is not necessary to repeat information which is correct in the original statement.
Planet 7, but... You mean I'm not on Earth?
You are still on your planet.
Then what are you doing here?
The Zans have annexed your world.
You mean you've conquered Earth?
Yes, that is correct. We will now prepare your planet for habitation by the Zan.
How about the people? What about the population of the world?
You are the population of the world.
Hmm? Now, wait a minute. I can't... I don't understand what's happened.
The Zan have landed on your planet. We have removed the lower life forms to prepare for colonization by the Zan.
When did all this happen?
2 days ago. You have been unconscious until now.
You really mean I'm the last man on Earth?
That is correct. Identify yourself now.
What?
Kindly provide data as to your position in the elementary social order of your planet.
Oh. I'm Walter Phelan, Associate Professor of Anthropology at Nathan University. How do you speak English?
We have deciphered your written and recorded records. It is not difficult to reconstruct your language. It is a primary type of auditory communication.
Oh.
Is there anything you want to complete your natural habitat?
You mean I'm a prisoner?
That is correct. What will you want further in your room?
Do I have to stay here?
Yes.
The rest of my life?
Forever.
You better bring me my books.
That will be done.
That's rather considerate of you. You know, I've got to call you something. Do you mind if I call you George?
It is immaterial. I will be back, Associate Professor of Anthropology.
Oh, that's all right, George. Just call me Walter.
Very well, Walter. I will be back with your books.
All right, George. I'll be seeing you around.
You will not be around, Walter. You will be here.
Come in. Oh, hello, George.
Hello, Walter.
Wait a minute. You're not George. You're different somehow.
It makes no difference. The Zan are many, and they are one.
Then I'll call you George, too. I'll call you old George. What can I do for you?
Point 1. You will please henceforth sit with your chair facing the other way.
Uh-huh. I thought so, George. That plain wall is different from the other side, isn't it?
That is correct. It is transparent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm in a zoo, right?
That is correct.
How many other animals do you have in the zoo, George?
216.
Not complete, George. Even a Bush League zoo could beat that. Did you just pick at random?
Yes. All species would have been too many. Male and female, each of 108 kinds.
Male and female, huh? Of all the animals?
There is a female of your species among the collection.
Anyone I know? Well, never mind. It doesn't matter anyway. Well, what do you feed us all, eh?
For carnivorous species, we make synthetics. The flora was not hurt by the vibrations which destroyed animal life.
Oh, nice for the flora. Well, George, you started out with point 1. I deduce there is a point 2 kicking around somewhere. What is it?
Something we do not understand.
Oh?
2 of the other animals sleep and do not wake. They are cold.
Don't worry, George. It happens in the best regulated zoos.
What is wrong with them, Walter?
Nothing much. They're just dead.
Dead?
Mm-hmm.
That means stopped. But nothing stopped them. Each was alone.
Well, maybe they just died of old age.
Old age? I do not understand.
You don't? Well, how old are you, George?
Your planet went around the sun about 7,000 times since I was born.
7,000 years?
Yes, I am still young.
Yeah, babe in arms. Look, George, you've got something to learn about this planet you've hijacked. Here on Earth, we've got somebody you don't know where you come from. An old man with a beard and an hourglass and a scythe. Your vibrations didn't kill him.
What is he?
Oh, old man Death. Down here, our people and animals live until somebody, the Grim Reaper, stops them.
He will stop more?
Well, he gets us all, George. With your lifespan, it won't seem like a minute and we'll all be gone. Looks like you made a mistake, George. And I don't think there's much you can do about it.
That is not correct. The Zan is a logical being. We will take action.
Oh, George, where are you taking me?
We will be there shortly. We will bring your books and your chair.
You mean my lease is up?
I do not understand.
It's moving day?
That is correct. We are here now. You will live here now, Walter. It is a larger room.
Well, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home.
Go inside.
Oh, be careful with those books, George. Don't lose my... Oh, excuse me.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I guess George didn't explain. George tries to be polite, but he hasn't quite caught on yet. I'm Walter Phelan.
My name is Grace Evans, Mr. Phelan. What's all this about? Why did they bring me here?
I think I know why, but let's go back a bit. Do you know just what has happened otherwise?
No, not exactly.
Well, I've been talking to George.
George?
Well, that's what I call them, all of them. There's no way to tell them apart anyway. There aren't many of them here yet. They come from outside the solar system, sort of an advanced scouting party.
I saw their spaceship. It's as big as a mountain.
Yeah, they're moving in on us. They cleaned off the Earth with some kind of vibration. It destroys all sorts of animal life. I don't know whether they did it all at once or if they had to circle the Earth a few times, but they killed everybody.
No. I was afraid
The cheerful note is that you and I and 200-odd other animals were picked up beforehand as specimens for the zoo. You do know this is a zoo, don't you?
I suspected it. But I don't remember anything about being captured. I just woke up here.
Well, my hunch is they used the vibrations just low enough to knock us all out. And then they cruised around, picking up samples at random. When they were all set, they turned the juice on full blast.
How terrible.
Yeah, well, they solved a lot of problems for us. Housing shortage, wars, even the atomic bomb. I don't suppose the human race, you and I, have to worry about anything now.
It's awful.
Only they made a mistake. They underestimated us.
I don't understand.
They thought we were immortal.
But we were what?
Immortal, like they are. Oh, they can be killed, but the Zans don't know what natural death is. They didn't know anyway until they lost 2 of us yesterday.
You mean there are more than 2 of us?
Oh, not more of our species, no. These were merely fellow animals, a rabbit and a canary. And by the Zan's way of figuring time, the rest of us are only good for a few minutes apiece. It's a joke on them. They figured they had permanent specimens here in the zoo.
Well, didn't they even know we'd all die eventually?
I don't think so. George, that is the second Zan I saw, told me he was 7,000 years old, and he's young by their standards. When they learned how quickly we die, they were practically shocked to the core, if they have cores.
How can you talk that way about it?
Academic detachment. I learned it at faculty teas. At any rate, they decided to reorganize their zoo. 2 by 2.
What, are they going to keep us locked up together in this one little room?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. There's plenty of furniture, though, and George promised to bring me my chair.
We've got to do something.
Why?
Well, I don't know. It just seems to me we owe it to the human race to do something.
Oh, well, perhaps you have a suggestion?
There must be some way. They can be killed, you said.
Oh, yes, I've been studying them. They look horribly different, but I think they have about the same metabolic and digestive system as we. I think that anything that would kill one of us would kill one of them.
But you said 7,000 years.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. Now, George cut his, I suppose you'd call it his hand, when he brought in my books. Started to bleed, red blood. But I could see the cut closing as he stood there. By the time he left, it was healed.
I don't understand.
Well, you see, whatever factor there is in man that makes him grow old is missing in the Zan. Their regenerative powers must be unlimited. They just don't wear out. They go on and on until they're stopped.
Suppose we killed one. There must be some way.
Oh, what would be the use? They wouldn't even punish us. They'd just give us our food through a trapdoor and put up a sign saying, "Beware of the man. Dangerous."
I don't think they'll even have to bother in your case. I don't see anything funny.
I'm sorry. It just reminds me of Martha.
Martha?
My wife. She died 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
Well, not at all. It was a pleasure. That'll be George with my books. Come in. Hello, George.
Hello, Walter. Point one, I have brought your books.
Point one, eh? What else is on your mind?
Another creature sleeps and will not wake.
Oh?
A small feathered one called a duck.
Well, it happens, George. I warned you. Old Man Death, the Grim Reaper. I told you about him.
Walter, the Council of Zan has met. It has been decided logically that A, no life form can withstand the full-strength vibrations with which we cleared your planet. Therefore, the Grim Reaper you spoke of does not exist.
Pretty neat, George. What's B?
B, the only intelligent life to escape the vibrations is you. Therefore, the logical conclusion is you are stopping these animals by some means unknown to us.
George, you are off your trolley.
You will tell me now how this is done.
You've got me.
Yes, we have. It is necessary to save the remaining specimens as long as possible. If we do not get the information, we may be forced to dispense with your species entirely. This means you, Walter, and the female.
Now, hold on, George. Don't go off half-cocked. Let me take a look at these animals that won't wake up.
I will take you there now. Go first, Walter.
After you, my dear George.
This is the weasel.
Now, you should have got him in the winter, George. The fur's worth more then. It's ermine.
This is the reptile cage. Here are the ducks. That is the male. The female has been stopped.
Yeah, lucky girl. What's the matter, fellow? Lonely?
Walter, you will tell me how you stopped the female duck.
Well, you got me, George. I didn't do it. Maybe she died of the Dutch elm blight.
Walter, you are not being logical. We have concluded you are stopping these animals. Tell us now how it is done.
I've told you, George. I haven't the foggiest notion.
Very well. We will have to take further action.
Oh, what are you going to do, George?
We will go back now to your room.
What happened, Mr. Phelan?
You might call me Walter. After all, George does. And we have more in common.
Please, what happened?
Oh, just a duck, a dead duck. George thinks I killed her by remote control. He wants me to tell him how.
Did you?
Look, I'm just an ordinary anthropologist. There's no telling what those animals died of, just natural causes. But George can't see it that way. He thinks I'm holding out on him.
Good.
What?
At least we can get back at them some way. At least we can do something to them.
Well, why? After all, George isn't a bad fellow, if you like an ant mentality.
How can you say that? Well, they murdered the human race.
I suppose so, but we can't change that now, so why think about it?
We just can't sit here and do nothing.
I fail to see how we can do anything else.
But at least we could be fighting.
I can't see the virtue in that. I was more or less content with my books, and we've got George to talk to.
Of all the men in the world they had to pick, don't you want to fight back? Don't you want to keep on fighting to the end?
It hadn't occurred to me.
But we've got to, Walter.
Why?
Well, I can't really explain it, but, Walter, if there was any good in man, it was that he kept on struggling against nature and, in the end, even against himself. But he kept on fighting for what he thought was right, and we're all that's left. Walter, we just can't end by giving up. We've got to keep on fighting.
You know, you do remind me of Martha.
There isn't much left for us. We could beat them in this one small thing. We can pretend there's a secret about death. We could refuse to tell them anything.
Well, there isn't anything to tell.
But they don't know that. Promise me you won't give in.
Well, I suppose the worst they can do is kill us. All right, Miss Evans. Hello, George.
Hello, Walter. Now you will tell us how these animals are stopped.
George, this may come as a shock to you, but I've decided not to tell you.
Why?
Oh, a romantic attachment to lost causes. My grandfather was a Confederate officer.
Walter, you are not being logical.
Neither was my grandfather. He charged a Yankee battery with 1 round of ammunition and a corncob pipe.
You are not logical, but that is expected in lower life forms. You will come with me now, Walter.
Where are you taking him?
To the 2nd level. Go now, Walter.
You won't tell them.
I can't guarantee anything, but as of now, I don't intend to.
We've got to fight, Walter. Remember that. We've got to go out fighting.
Yes. Yes, I think you're right.
Go now, Walter.
Goodbye.
It's been a pleasure, Miss Evans.
I am waiting. Go now, Walter.
After you, my dear George.
You will tell us now, Walter? That was the first level of vibration. There are many more. However, we have calculated that none of them exceed your threshold of unconsciousness.
Oh, very clever, George.
Of course. You will tell us now, how do you stop these animals? You will tell us now?
As of now, no. However, I'm not very brave, if that encourages you, George.
You are not being logical, Walter.
You're telling me.
We will now use vibration level 2. Walter, you are still conscious.
Let me alone, George.
You will tell us now how you stop the animals.
Let me alone.
We have had vibration levels 1 and 2. There are still 15 more before your threshold of unconsciousness.
No. Let me alone.
Walter, listen to me. Another creature sleeps and will not wake. We must know now.
It's tough. You better start vibrating again, George.
No.
What?
It would not be logical. We have calculated that no further level of vibration will overcome your irrational psychological block. We conclude you will not tell.
Let me go?
That is correct.
That's real nice of you, George. I appreciate it.
We have calculated that the resistance of the female of your species will be lower. We will now place her under the vibrations.
No, George, you can't do that. Now, listen, George. George, there is no secret. Can you understand that? There is no secret. Those animals died from natural causes. I'm telling you the truth.
That is not a logical answer. We will get the woman.
I've told you the truth. Can't you understand?
We must know now. The female animal cage next to the duck has been stopped. We must preserve the survivor.
The animal next to the duck?
We will bring the woman here. She will tell us after the vibration.
No. Listen, George. You want the truth? You want to know how to save the mates of the animals that have been stopped?
You will tell us now?
Yes, I'll tell you now. I give up. But you've got to promise to leave the woman alone. You promise, George?
If we receive the answer from you, Walter, there will be no further need for the vibrations.
Well, I guess that'll have to do. All right. Take me to that stopped animal. I'll tell you how to save the mate.
Very well, Walter. You are being logical now. We will go.
Walter, are you all right?
Just let me catch my breath a minute.
What did they do? What happened?
After a while, I told them what they wanted to know.
Oh, no.
As George pointed out, it seemed to be the logical thing at the time.
But you promised.
I know.
It was our last chance to beat them on even one little thing.
Perhaps. You mind if I sit down?
You gave up.
I suppose you could call it that. I'm very tired.
They've beaten us completely then. There isn't even anything we can do. The last of the human race, and we give up. We don't even die fighting.
Oh, it isn't that bad. Something might turn up, Martha.
What did you call me?
Huh? No, I must have said Martha. Sorry, she was my wife. She died 2 years ago. What were you saying?
Nothing. It doesn't matter. It's too late. It's too late for the whole human race.
What now, George?
The Council of the Zan has met.
Oh? Something wrong, George?
A Zan has been stopped.
What?
Zan is dead?
That is correct.
Well, you didn't believe me, George. But you can die. You can really die. You'll have to get used to that if you're going to stay here.
The council has decided. A, you have in some way stopped this Zan. B, you and the woman must be eliminated.
Walter.
No, you've got it wrong, George.
The council has decided. This time you will have the full vibration.
This time? Walter, what did they do to you?
Oh, they have a rather effective third degree.
They tortured you, Walter?
Yes.
And I thought... Oh, Walter, it was all my fault.
I wouldn't even have tried without you. I suppose we have a last chance now to end with some dignity.
I think you're a very brave man, Walter.
No, not very. There isn't much else to do. Do we go now, George?
Now, Walter. Wait.
What's that?
I have been told another Zan has died.
Now will you believe me?
The council of the Zan meets now.
2 gone already, and you were with me, George. You know I didn't kill this one.
What stopped him then?
I told you, it's old man Death. You came to the wrong planet, George. Your immortality doesn't go down here. He can stop you, but you can't stop him. And you'll all die if you stick around. What now?
The council has decided. This is a place of death. We will leave your planet.
Leave? You mean you're giving up?
It is not safe for the Zan.
Oh, Walter, they're leaving. They're really going.
Go on then, George. And don't hurry back.
It would not be logical to do so. We are leaving the Earth now. Goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye, George. Well, they're all aboard now.
So wonderful to feel the sun and the wind again.
Yeah, they've closed the hatches.
Walter, is it safe for us to be out here?
Yes, they're not interested in us any longer. They only want to get away. And I want to see this, Grace. The Zan leaving Earth forever. They're blasting off.
There they go.
Yes, it's all over now. Well, I suppose we might as well go back in.
I still don't understand. Walter, what made them go?
I just told them the facts of life.
Of death, you mean?
No, of life. After all, I thought George was old enough to know. At 7,000 years, he was getting to be a pretty big boy.
I wish you'd stop joking and tell me what happened.
Look out for the step. Well, you remember when the first animals died?
The rabbit and the duck?
Yeah, and their mates just started to pine and waste away?
Yes.
Well, that worried the Zan. They wanted to keep the last specimens alive if they could. So finally, I broke down and told them about affection.
Affection?
Yes. And then I introduced Donald.
Donald, who's that?
Here we are. Grace, meet Donald.
Oh, Walter, please, what does affection have to do with it?
That's what the Zan wanted to know. I told him it was love that made the world go round. That having lost his mate, Donald would die immediately unless he had affection and constant petting.
Petting?
Hmm? I even showed him how. Here, fella, come on. Come here. Yeah. I held Donald in my arms, and I petted him a while. Then I let the Zan take over with the animal in the next cage.
What animal?
Take a look.
You mean this cage?
Mm-hmm. Watch out. Don't go too close.
Walter, it's a rattlesnake.
Yes. Their metabolism made it impossible for them to die of old age, but I had a hunch that they could be poisoned.
Well, then it was the snake that killed the two Zan.
Mm-hmm. They never even knew what bit them.
Then you outwitted them, Walter.
Well, I suppose...
I thought you'd just given up. Oh, Walter, I'm so ashamed.
You don't have to be. I had given up. I probably wouldn't have fought if you hadn't pushed me. Well, we've got a world to plan. A new world, Grace.
I know.
We'll have to decide which animals to let out of the zoo and which ones it'd be safer to keep in. But first, there's a bigger problem.
What's that?
The human race.
Oh.
We've got to make a decision about that. Pretty important one.
Yes, but...
It's been a nice race, even if nobody won it. Of course, it may go backward for a while until it gets its breath, but we can save the books and all the most important things and get it started ahead once more.
No.
It's the Garden of Eden all over again. But, Eve, you'll have to watch out for that snake.
Now, don't be ridiculous, Walter.
It's funny. You even blush like Martha. Only you're stronger than she was. Prettier, too.
I wish you'd forget about Martha.
I think I will, my dear. If you'll give me time.
Now, Walter Phelan, you listen to me. If you think for 1 minute that I
thought it would never happen to me again. But it is love that makes the world go round. So, Grace, if you could only...
No. I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on earth.
But that's exactly what I am.
I don't care. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm going out.
All right, my dear, but think it over. And please come back.
You see, I told you. It wasn't really so horrible, our story. Remember how it goes? The last man on earth sat alone in a room. And then there was a knock on the door.
Come in. Come in, Grace, my dear.
You see, it wasn't horrible at all. In just a moment, a word about next week's adventure. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Knock by Frederick Brown, adapted for radio by Ernest Kinoy. Featured in the cast were Alex Scorby as Walter, Laurie March as Grace, and Louis Van Rooten as the Zan. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week. A strange and chilling story from the Bureau of Missing Persons. The story of what occurred when they accidentally intercepted a shortwave message. A cry for help from a missing atomic scientist who told them the fantastic story that he was now the man in the moon. How did it happen? You'll hear next week at X minus 1.
Join the Abbotts on another baffling mystery tonight over most NBC radio stations.
It's a long way from the coast of California to the South Seas, but many ocean liners travel that route with no more excitement than a trolley car ride. And almost directly in the path of these steamers lies a strange, hidden island, the magic island of the South Seas. The Gregory yacht has sailed to this island in search of Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little daughter. Now the yacht is held fast to the island by a powerful magnetic force. Jerry, Captain Bradford, and Mrs. Gregory leave the yacht. They stumble blindly through the weird yellow half-light that covers everything. Suddenly, some unseen person or phantom thing thrusts a pair of glasses into the hands of each.
Oh, Tex. Jerry, look.
They're all around us.
And we haven't heard the slightest sound.
I felt better when I couldn't see them.
Speak to them, Tex. Say something to them. They aren't making any move to harm us.
I'll go near them. You and Jerry stay. Well, I can't move.
I'm scared, too. But I can move anyway. I'll show you. And gee, I can't even move my arms.
It's almost as if we were rooted to this spot.
Gosh, why don't they move or say something?
Speak to them, Tex. Get them to move. This will drive us mad.
Steady, Patricia. These men are not savages. They're strangely dressed, but they look civilized and intelligent.
But why can't we move?
I know why, but I don't know how it's being done. I've a gun in my pocket. I feel it being drawn downward.
Sure, that's it. Magnetism again. That's why my flashlight feels like it weighs a ton in my pocket.
Oh, my head. Something's pulling at my hair. Oh, of course, the metal hairpin. What's holding our hands and feet so still?
I think we'll find out a lot in a minute. One of those men are coming towards us now.
Yeah. His legs are moving all right. He's walking pretty fast. Say, why doesn't he get any closer to us?
Oh, the shallow light is deceptive. Probably an illusion deliberately created to throw our sense of perspective out of balance. I'll bet they don't speak English. Let me do the talking if we get a chance to do anything. Hello there. How do you do?
I guess I don't speak anything.
We'll soon find out. Well, if I could move my arms, I could shake hands with this gentleman.
I think that will not be necessary. In fact, it would not be advisable.
Golly whiskers, he can talk.
It's a relief to hear English spoken in this strange place.
This strange place? Madame is mistaken. This is a perfectly natural place. You three are the strange elements here.
Well, I guess you're right at that. We seem to have intruded upon something that's a little bit beyond our depth. What's it all about, Professor?
Oh, do not apply to me the title you confer upon your petty educators in what you so grandly choose to call your world. World, indeed. Why, you poor innocents cannot even dream of the world as it is given to us to know it. Now, I will introduce myself. I am called G47.
Gee whiz.
No, G47.
Is this real, Tex?
It is, but no one back home will believe us.
May I ask a question of you, G47?
At least, Madame Gregory, you...
He knows me.
Silence, Madame, or I shall think you as rude as your strange companions.
I'm sorry, but I was so surprised that you should know me.
I think we're going to be more surprised if we can find something this guy don't know.
You are a very observant person for one so young.
Well, before we go on with this display of our ignorance and your confounded superiority, you might at least call off your magnetic force. It'd be more comfortable if we could walk around a little.
I am disappointed in you, Captain Bradford.
Oh, you win, G47. Suppose we could have moved long ago if we'd had sense enough to try it.
You were released the moment I spoke to you. Now, if you are through gaping and wondering, I will be glad to answer Madame Gregory's question. The object of your search is here.
Then the old sailor's story was true. There is a little white girl living here.
Gee, and can we see her right away?
Yes, let's get it over with, or do we just stand here all night?
Your rudeness will be overlooked this time, Captain Bradford. You will follow me. Come.
Well, I guess nobody who saw this would ever make fun of my magic island again.
You will see no magic here. This is a land of fact. Cold, hard, scientific fact.
What you say is obviously true, but we've been accustomed to getting our facts in a little less spectacular manner. Everything here is real enough, but it's all so strange to us.
Notice how all these other men merely stand aside and let us pass. They don't look curious, happy, angry. They just don't look anything.
Guess they don't think we rate getting excited about.
On the contrary, you are rather interesting subjects. It will be a pleasure to study you at greater length when time permits.
Well, it isn't the most comfortable feeling in the world to be spoken of as a subject for study, as if we were bugs on a microscopic slide.
But remember, Pat, as long as we're being studied, we'll be alive, and while
you're alive, there is always the possibility of your escape, eh?
That can wait. Please, G47, may we see the little girl?
We are nearly to the ladies' quarters now.
I imagine the ladies of your colony are kept rather well protected in the event your island might be surprised and perhaps captured, eh, G47?
Do not be unnecessarily stupid. We fear nothing.
I've got an idea he means that.
May we inquire where the ladies of your colony may be found? I see none of them.
This is the 602nd period, when the ladies are engaged in caring for their living quarters. making the dresses for tomorrow.
You mean 600 seconds as we figure time in our world?
Precisely.
But, golly whiskers, 600 seconds. That's only 10 minutes. You mean the ladies make their own dresses in 10 minutes?
And attend to caring for their living quarters in the same time? 5 minutes to make a dress,
It
Pat.
is a waste of valuable time, I admit. But we haven't been able to solve the problem of making a satisfactory garment in less than 300 seconds.
Good heavens, 5 minutes to make a dress, and the man calls it a waste of time.
I said 300 seconds, not 5 minutes. We have no time to deal in minutes here. Time is too precious. We measure it in seconds.
I'll bet these guys could put up the Empire State Building in their lunch hour. Boy, oh boy.
And the ladies make a new dress for every day?
Precisely. You will see all that being done and more before you leave the Isle of Euclidia.
So that's it, Euclidia. You named your scientific island for Euclid, the father of geometry.
You are learning, Captain Bradford. I am called G47, as the highest authority in Euclidia on the subject of mathematics. G for geometry, 47 for the squaring of the circle, the 47th problem of Euclid.
G47. And do all the other men on the island have names like yours?
No, they are all different from mine.
I mean, are they, do they mean something like yours does?
Everything on this island means something. The names are similar to mine. But enough with this childish prattle. Directly before you, you will notice a small, gleaming copper door. You are expected. Enter. I will return for you when the time limit of your visit is reached.
Well, if we ever wake up at all, this is going to be a dream hard to forget.
This is no dream. It's the real thing. A magic island.
Oh, I'm so nervous. Do you think we'll really see my little girl after all this? Will she prove to be my little girl? My little daughter, Joan?
Well, let's knock on this door and find out. Gee, the door opened. Without a sound before I touched it.
Are we supposed to walk right in?
You may enter.
Did you hear that?
A young girl's voice. Let's go in. What a small room. Oh, are you... How do you do?
Will you not sit down? Allow me, Mrs. Gregory. You there, Captain Bradford, and you here, Gerald.
Huh. Gerald. Huh.
Oh, Tex,
Steady, Patricia. Now take it as calmly as you can. Jerry and I will just sit quietly in the background, as far back as we can go back in this little cubbyhole. You go ahead and talk to her. Find out if... Good luck, dear.
Do you mind if I question you?
Not at all. We of Euclidia encourage conversation when the subject is of value and takes little time. Remember, we are allowed but 120 seconds for this visit.
Gee, Tex, who ever heard of a 15-year-old girl talking like that?
Hush, Jerry. Let's don't use up any of Mrs. Gregory's 120 seconds.
Your name... What are you called, my dear?
I am called Cleostra. Each one on Euclidia has a namesake in science. Cleostratus was an astronomer of ancient Greece who arranged the signs of the zodiac. I came to this island on the day the Euclideans changed the calendar from your clumsy one of 12 months of different lengths to our perfect one of 13 months. Hence, I was called Cleostra in honor of that day.
Golly whiskers. That girl knows more than my school teacher.
Hush, Jerry.
Tell me, my... Cleostra, do you know how you came to this island, to Euclidia?
Why, of course. I was cast upon the island after a shipwreck near here. I was tied to a sinking lifeboat.
Yes, that would be right. The lifeboat was sinking. All the men left it and tried to swim to safety so that you and I would have a better chance to live. I remember tying you to the boat, and then I could remember nothing else.
You remember? You tied me to that boat?
Yes, that's the last thing I remember. That was 14 years ago. You should be 15 now.
The keeper of the records tells me I am just 15. But you spoke of fastening me to the lifeboat. You? Who are you?
I am your mother. I am Mrs. Patricia Gregory.
I know all that. But you are someone else also. There is something... I cannot explain it. My feeling is strange to me. But the Euclideans have kept so much news of the world from me. I suppose we are very happy here, yet I have often wished to know something of the world. Your world. Now you've brought that to me.
Will you turn your head? May I touch you, my child?
Certainly. Oh, you feel so strange. So warm and friendly. Your hands. No one's hands ever felt like that to me before.
I knew your hair would be golden and curly, and I'm afraid to look. It would be a tiny star-shaped scar at the base of your neck. Oh, it's here, Tex. Jerry, the scar. It's Joan, my baby. My little daughter, Joan. My little girl.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today our story takes a new twist as Matt Briggs, fanatical leader of the clan of the Fiery Cross, eludes capture and carries new plans for attack to the grand imperial mogul of the terrorists.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, have you heard the talk that's going round and round the breakfast table these mornings? It's about this week's pep dish of the week, blueberry whirligig. How about giving it a whirl yourself? First, you sprinkle your serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, with fresh, ripe blueberries. Then, not carefully, of course, take your spoon and give it a whirl so the juicy berries are all mixed in with those crisp flakes of pep. Finish off with milk and sugar, and that's it, a blueberry whirligig. And is it a snappy treat? What those sunny flakes of Kellogg's Pep can do for fresh berries. How that sparkling sunshine flavor does rise and shine. Mm-mm. Yeah, Kellogg's Pep sure is on the sunbeam when it comes to delicious eating. Did I say delicious? Why, you won't want to stop until you've finished up every flake of Kellogg's Pep in your bowl. And you know, that's a particularly good idea nowadays when the cereal grains are being sent overseas. You don't want to waste cereal. So handle the package carefully if you pour your own Pep, and eat up every bit you pour out. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure you eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Now, the adventures of Superman. Although Superman captured the action committee of the clan of the Fiery Cross just as they were about to execute Jimmy Olsen and Editor Perry White, Matt Briggs, Grand Scorpion of the terroristic band, managed to escape. For many hours, Superman searched the hills for the cunning fanatical leader, but was unable to find him. Late that night, his clothes bedraggled and his shoes caked with mud, Briggs arrived at a handsome house in a neighboring state. This is the home of Cedric Wilson, Grand Imperial Mogul of the clan of the Fiery Cross. And as we continue now, in Wilson's library, the white-haired, thin-lipped supreme ruler of the hate-mongers faces Matt Briggs, whose slate-colored eyes glow with a strange, burning fire. Listen.
You shouldn't have come here, Riggs.
I had to, Wilson. The clan's in danger.
We'll be in much worse danger if you were followed.
Don't worry, I wasn't followed. Now listen, Wilson.
You can't be sure. There's probably a 5-state alarm out for you by now. You're a stupid fool, Riggs.
Me? Stupid? Why?
Yes. No one but a stupid fool would risk the murder of an important man like the editor of the Daily Planet.
But I had to, Wilson. He found out who I was. I'd have got away with it, except for Superman.
Now, in addition to the police, you've got Superman looking for us. Do you realize what that means? Just when we were launching a huge new membership drive? This will cost us 10,000 new members.
Maybe not, Wilson.
Maybe nothing. Your fool stunt cost us 10,000 new members who would have paid us $100 apiece for initiation fees and another $25 for robes and hoods. That means over $1 million would have split.
So what? What's money got to do with the spot we're in now?
What's money got to do with it?
Yes, after all, we're not in this only for money.
No? What have you been doing with the 25% cut you get on all new members to the Metropolis chapter? And the 10% cut on their robes? Giving it to charity?
Certainly not. I like money, sure. But aside from that, I'm also working to purify America, to clean it of foreigners.
Oh, come now, Riggs.
Look, Wilson, I know we're in a bad spot. But if you'll only call in the National Action Committee...
Wait a minute. Is it possible that you really believe all that stuff about getting rid of the foreigners? That one race, one religion, one color hokum?
Hokum? Why, it's the absolute truth. We've got to save America from foreign elements.
Well, I thought you had brains, Riggs. But obviously something's happened to you. You become drunk on the slop we put up for the suckers.
Suckers? Who are you calling?
Our members, Riggs. The poor fish who want to hate and blame somebody else for their failures in life. The saps who believe drivel such as a man is a dangerous enemy because he goes to a different church. The little nobodies who want to believe some of the race is inferior so they can feel superior. The jerks who go for that 100% American rot.
Rot? You mean you don't believe...
Of course not. You must know there is no such thing as what we call 100% American. Everyone here except the Indians is descended from foreigners.
Boy, blast you, Wilson. You talk like a dirty foreigner yourself.
I'm running a business, Riggs, and so are you. We deal in one of the oldest and most profitable commodities on earth. Hate. Your mistake was when you forgot you were a businessman and began believing your own sales talk.
I didn't make any mistakes. I only had tough luck.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. You said you wanted me to summon our National Action Committee, didn't you?
Yes.
For what reason?
To get rid of Perry White and Jim Olsen and my nephew, Chuck. They got me into this trouble, and they can identify me. And they dare to defy the clan of the Fiery Cross.
I thought so. You've lost your mind, Riggs. You've turned into a bloodthirsty fanatic. You're a great danger to the life of the clan now, and you've got to be stopped.
Why, what do you mean?
I'll show you what I mean. It's you or the clan, Matt.
Put down that gun.
Not until... Stop it. Stop it, you're breaking my arm.
That gun? All right. No, you traitor. Let me go. I'm going to choke it. Finish you off, Matt. No. You're a traitor to the clan. And you know what that means? So now I'm going to finish you. Then I'll go back to Metropolis and get White and Olsen and my sniveling nephew. No one can stop me in the clan of the Fiery Cross. When is the next plane to Metropolis?
Flight 12 leaves in 10 minutes. Arrives in Metropolis at 4 a.m.
All right, I want one ticket.
What name, sir?
Huh? Rigney. Martin Rigney.
Just a minute.
What? Matt Riggs. Not so loud. Come on, get dressed, Fred, and come with me.
Where?
Never mind where. This is a clan order.
But, Matt, all the cops are looking for you. It's in the papers and on the radio.
So what? We got a job to do.
What job?
We've got to get rid of Perry White and Jim Olsen and my nephew. Then there'll be nobody left to testify against me, and the clan can go on. Now, come on, hurry up and get dressed.
Not me. I've had enough of the clan. I don't want to go to the electric chair. Good night.
Now, wait a minute. Why, the dirty yellow rat. Now, get dressed. Come with me, George.
Nothing doing, Matt. I'm all through with the clan. As soon as the wife and I finish packing, we're getting out of town.
Out of town? What's the idea?
The action committee was rounded up by Superman, and they've squealed. It was just on the radio. They told the cops the names of all the clan members they knew. I'm getting out before the cops come for me.
Matt Riggs. Holy smoke, I thought it was the police coming for me. Get out of here.
Oh, wait a minute, Tom.
Get away from here, I said. I don't want to hear any more of your smooth talk. I'm game for scaring foreigners by flogging and tar and feathering. But murder, not for me. Go on, get away from my house.
Who's there?
Me, Matt Riggs. Open up, Bill.
Easy.
Now, wait a minute, Bill.
Easy, I said, or I'll call the cops.
Listen, Joe, there's a big job to do for the clan. All right, you dirty cowards. I'll get White and Olsen and Chuck alone. I'll save the clan of the Fiery Cross myself. Then let me see you come crawling back.
Standing on the deserted street as dawn is beginning to break, Matt Riggs, out of his mind with hate, shakes his fists violently over his head, vowing to take the lives of Editor White, Jimmy Olsen, and young Chuck Riggs. We'll return in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Say, gang, you want to pass on a helpful household hint to Mother? Well, if she finds it a tough job to get folks out for breakfast in the morning, tell her how everybody comes a-running when Kellogg's Pep heads the menu. Yes, sir. Pep sure does give your appetite the old come on. Looks terrific in the first place, all golden and toasted and crisp. And does it taste terrific? Why, Kellogg's Pep is called the Sunshine Cereal. It's loaded with sparkling sunshine flavor, a bang-up, delicious flavor that teases your taste like anything. And these whole wheat flakes are mighty tender and delicate to be so good for you. You know, Pep gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. Add it all up, gang, and you'll get a sum total of why you'll want to polish off every crunchy flake of Kellogg's Pep in your bowl. And say, here's another angle. Nowadays, we're sending the cereal grains to help give good nourishment to fellows and girls all over the world. So it wouldn't do to waste cereal. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, appoint yourself a committee of one to see that it's not wasted. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Get hep to Pep, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Neither Clark Kent nor Inspector Henderson have slept during the night. Now, as dawn begins to break, both men are in Henderson's office at Metropolis Police Headquarters. His face haggard, the inspector wearily answers the phone, then stiffens alertly.
Yes, I heard you, Hilly. Are you sure it was him? He did, huh? Well, did you check it? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Stick with it and keep me posted. Right. What's up, Inspector? Get this, Kent. What? A man answering the description of Matt Riggs, using the name Rigney, boarded a State Airlines plane in Graham City at 1:30 this morning. Uh-oh. Where was the plane bound? For Metropolis. It landed a couple of hours ago. Oh, was Riggs picked up? No. What? My men were watching the terminal and the outgoing planes. We didn't expect him to fly into Metropolis. I was sure Riggs was hiding out in the hills.
He made his way out through an old lead mine. That's why I missed him.
You missed him?
Huh? Oh, I mean Superman. Lead, you know, is the one substance his X-ray vision can't penetrate. Look, Inspector, Matt Riggs is dangerous. He's
tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, transcribed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are groping your way through the belly of a sunken ship, a fortune and pearls secured to your belt, while above on the ship that tends you, working the pump that sends air to you, is an adversary whose plans include the taking of your pearls and your life.
Listen now as Escape brings you John Russell's story, The Adversary.
It was at dusk, and on an ebb tide, that the pearling schooner Fancy Free came smartly up into the wind and dropped anchor in the harbor of Thursday Island. And it was after dark when her master came ashore and paid off his Kanaka crew. He was a big man, this captain, with a crop of black hair, a smooth, long jaw, and gray eyes. As he went swinging along the waterfront, the crowd parted right and left before him. Now, news of any arrival travels fast on Thursday Island. And with such a figure as this, the conversation at the Portuguese bar had been going on for some time.
One thing I know for certain, he's got the trimmest lugger in these parts. And where's he from, Smike? First time I ever laid eye on him or his boat was this evening.
If he was from these parts, Portuguese, Captain Smike would know him.
Well, wherever he's from, he'd be like the rest of you, up to no good. Oh, you've no use for pearlers, have you, Portuguese? You're all cut from the same cloth. Thieves, drunkards, brawlers, and worse. Ah, you fat devil. You're no better than the worst of us. I know and can account for my shortcomings. It is not so with you, who make a living like so many sea gypsies.
What's he saying, Captain Smike?
Alf, drink your drink.
I only wanted to know.
The stranger, Smike. He's another pearler, perhaps. Yes, he could be. I'll find out more when he comes for his rum. Yeah. Pour me a drink, Portuguese. And one for little Alfie. There. A toast to Thursday Island.
Thursday Island.
Where the only honest man to grace its shores came by land.
You there! At the bar.
Cool. Look at the size of that one.
My name is Smike, if it's me you're talking to.
My name is Weatherby. John Weatherby. I'm master of the Fancy Free.
That's the lugger in the harbour, ain't it?
And so, Captain Weatherby?
I've come to spend some time with you.
Captain Weatherby, what is your pleasure?
But first I'll have my say.
That's your right.
A moment back you drank a toast to which I take exception.
That's so.
You said the only honest man on Thursday Island came by land.
I did.
Now then, I don't mind what you call yourselves to yourselves. As long as I'm in your midst, anyone that says I'm not honest and can't prove it, I'll knock the 7 bells out of him.
Since you're a stranger here, Weatherby, I'll tell you something. I'm senior captain on Thursday Island, and I say what I wish when I wish. And it's like I said before. The only honest man on Thursday Island came...
Nummy, he never even got it said.
You, little fella, go give your friend a hand. He'll need help for a while yet.
My name is Elf, and I ain't finished my drink.
Go.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'll have that rum.
Right away, Captain Weatherby.
Now, on Thursday Island, there was no prying into a neighbor's affairs unless one was prepared to push the inquiry with a knife. And so it was that nobody questioned where Weatherby came from, or his pearling license, or the motley crew he picked to replace the skilled Kanaka boys he'd let go. His new cook was Chinese, his head diver a Manila man, and his mate a giant North African who went by the name of Buttermilk. But questions or no, as the months passed, a legend was growing about Captain Weatherby.
Oh, he'd chase you right across the Pacific to pay you tuppence he might owe you. That's his sort.
You never had tuppence in your life, Alfie. 5 nights ago, he was in here, and he drank 5 hard cases under the table. And when they left, he squared the whole bill himself.
Honest Weatherby, they call him.
Honest Weatherby, he's up to something. They say nothing but good about him.
You're right as rain, Portuguese. Last month he stayed in quarantine voluntary-like, just because of that island steamer and the cholera scare.
Then paid his crew their monthly wages anyway. His crew. A good master wouldn't allow one of them to set foot on deck.
Well, they ain't been exactly trained by the Queen's Navy.
What I want to know is this. Why's he got the fastest lugger in these parts manned by that collection of trash? You still hold that blow against Weatherby, Smite. But he's all right.
Harbour authorities, pilots, and other masters, and the whole lot. They all like him.
I don't. Listen. That will be the Brisbane steam. It's trying to get her bloody passengers back aboard. She sails at midnight.
Australia. I wish I was going. I'd like to see Australia again.
Yes, he'd probably like to see you, too.
Oh, now, Captain.
Like as not, it's her pilot the Fernshaw's blowing for.
Pilot?
Ever since she put in here, Weatherby and that ship's pilot been trying to drink the island dry.
I wonder where he is now.
Down at the docks, like as not. Pouring his pilot friend aboard the steamer. Another rum, Portuguese. And another for little Alfie.
And in truth, Weatherby was down at the docks, his coat turned up against the squalls that were blowing wet from the ocean. He was standing in the shadows by some packing crates, watching from a distance the yellow cargo flares that showed the loading of the Fernshaw was still in progress. Then, just as Captain Weatherby was turning away, another figure slipped from the shadow and moved to confront him.
Captain Weatherby?
Yes?
I'll take halvers, if you please, Captain Weatherby.
What?
I said halvers. Now, don't move, Captain. I've got you well covered, and I'm not afraid to shoot.
Deacon! After all these years, the Deacon. Bless me if I didn't think I'd done you in.
I should have died, but I didn't. No thanks to you.
And what are you doing on Thursday Island?
I dropped in from Samurai, meaning to catch the Brisbane steamer.
Huh?
I've been doing some diving up the way, but I'm only a fair diver, and my luck's been poor. Until tonight.
Until tonight? And why the change, little beetle?
Because I chanced to see you, my old friend. And I was strolling along the front, and I made inquiries, and I heard what they call you in these parts. Honest Weatherby.
Why, you wasp. You have it in mind to blow on me?
To tell what I know of you and have you go to jail, not a chance. That would do me no good.
What then?
I just want half of your new speculation. Your latest deviltry.
What makes you think I've got a plan, Deacon?
Oh, do you think I couldn't smell it out? I know your methods too well. Fine public character, no suspicion, alibi all complete. Yes, and I also know you sneaked your crew out of town tonight. Your lugger's ready to slip cable this minute. And, most important, I happen to know what the Fernshaw's carrying aboard of this trip.
Oh, the devil you do.
The season sweep of pearls, 20,000 pounds worth.
Suppose I was after those pearls. How would I get them?
That's for you to do, and me to profit by.
Oh, so you'll let me do the dirty, and then take ours.
That's right, Captain Honest Weatherby.
Blast me if it isn't hard to know whether you're with me or against me, Deacon.
Thus saith the Lord, an adversary there shall be, and he shall bring down thy strength from thee.
All right. All right then, Deacon, I'll put up with your blackmail and piracy, and I'll take you on as an adversary. And you'll be part of the enterprise.
Good. And now, Weatherby, tell me this. How are you to get the pearls that are aboard the steamer there?
I shall have to dive for them, Deacon.
Dive for them?
And like it or not, since you've declared yourself in, you'll be a party to it.
You mean you're going to sink her?
That's exactly what I mean, Deacon. Within 2 hours of sailing, the Fernshaw will be resting on the bottom of the passage.
You are listening to The Adversary, tonight's presentation of Escape. It's back again. It's Saturday daytimes on CBS Radio. It's Romance. Romance every Saturday on most of these same stations, bringing you the world's great love stories. Some new, some old, all fascinating adventures in listening. The story this Saturday, Daphne du Maurier's celebrated novel, Frenchman's Creek, dramatizes the love of a noblewoman for a pirate. And now, Escape, and the second act of The Adversary.
Within half an hour, the little lugger Fancy Free was standing out to sea. The master, Captain Weatherby, and a small and shivering passenger sheltered in the lee of the deckhouse. The deacon had wanted in on the profit, but he had hardly counted on mass murder as a means to it. One man's death he might have countenanced, but to murder a steamer was something else.
Weatherby, you can't do it. You can't drown a whole ship's company.
Did you ever hear the Volga, the Kate, or the Mecca? Well, they all fell a trifle off the track. Their bottoms were ripped out on Tribulation Show. Now, the same thing might happen to the Fernshaw.
But how? There's a light on Tribulation Show.
So there is. It's a fourth-order fixed dioptric, unattended. Now, suppose that light were moved.
But like you say, it's fixed. Yeah. And besides, the keeper lives only a mile away on Horn Island. You couldn't move it.
Suppose a man were to land on the lee of Tribulation Shoal, and with a canvas, blanket the light to westward. Now, if that same man were to take a discarded lightship lantern that he might have aboard his lugger, and after anchoring some half-mile away, show this light at his masthead, what then?
What? You're mad, Weatherby.
You begin to see the possibility for error?
You really are going to wreck her.
Well, I am, Deacon.
You wouldn't. You daren't.
Captain.
What is it?
Fix up head. Can't hear.
How far?
Close, very close.
Deacon, get below. We're at Tribulation Shoal, and there's man's work to be done yet tonight.
Weatherby.
Get below. Buttermilk!
Captain.
How close now to the south?
200-300 yards.
Have the helm put over, Buttermilk, and drop a hook. We're going ashore to have a look at Tribulation Light.
Now, it is a fact that no one knows or is ever likely to know the actual explanation for the wreck of the Brisbane steamer, which left Thursday Island and came to grief some 2 hours later on Tribulation Shoals. But the records declare that she went clean off her course, and a coral reef laid her open as neatly as a butcher's knife lays open a carcass. She sank within 5 minutes. The next morning, as the dawn spread in iridescence over those waters, Captain Weatherby anchored his lugger between the tips of the two sunken masts.
All right, Buttermilk. Get my equipment ready.
I get diving suit.
Well, Deacon, you'll note for yourself there's not a trace of evidence. We've not been spied. The lantern we used is sunk, the canvas destroyed, and Tribulation light as it was before.
You're evil, Weatherby. Pure evil.
Deacon, is there so much difference between a lot and a little? Come now, Deacon, cheer up. Here we are, and there are the pearls. 20,000 pounds worth of them, just oversized.
No, I don't want any part of it.
Within 3 hours, I'll be back out on the pearling banks about my business, never having heard of the wreck.
Captain, you strap diving shoes.
Next week, or any time I choose, I'll be walking the streets of Thursday near the news. And who will be as surprised as Captain Weatherby, that hard-working man. Honest Weatherby, with a fortune in his belt to dispose at leisure.
All ready now. Put helmet, Captain.
Yes, Deacon. I've not a problem in the world. Except you.
Me? Why me?
You are evidence. This stinking crew doesn't matter. I've kept them too befuddled to know what's happening, but you could be Queen's evidence. I'm not forgetting you.
Now, listen to me, Weatherby. I want no part of...
What kind of an adversary do you call yourself, Deacon? I'd hope for some sport from you. Now, come below, Deacon. Now's the time to change your luck. Come below once and for all.
No, I won't go down with you, not down there.
Well, you're a diver, aren't you, Deacon?
I can't, not in that ship, I can't.
Oh, blast it, Deacon. I thought at least you'd be amusing. Eh, very well. When I come back, I'll knock your silly head in.
Captain, you want a helmet?
One thing, Buttermilk.
Yes, Captain.
You see that fellow white man? Maybe he wants to go below. Good. You give him other suit.
Yes, Captain.
Maybe he touch pump or raise fuss. You knock 7 bells out of him. Otherwise, no order. You savvy?
I savvy, Captain.
Good. Now help me with the helmet.
Yes.
Put on now.
You okay now, Captain?
You murderer! You filthy murderer, Weatherby!
Captain, no here. Not in helmet. You white fella, move away. Captain, go waterside now.
You fella pump plenty good. Captain need much air.
Listen, I've got to talk to you.
Captain say you no good.
Look, I'll give you money. Anything, just cut those lines.
Captain, die we cut line. No bleed down there.
Yes, that's right, he'll die, but I'll pay you more than he will.
Line stop moving, Captain, on ship now.
What about it? You want money?
No.
What do you want? And I'll give you anything you say. Just cut those lines and leave him.
White fella, no good.
But don't you understand? He'll kill me after he gets those pearls and comes up.
Captain say no order.
Huh? You've got to listen to me.
Go away.
Look, put me in the longboat. Turn me loose. I'll take my chance in the open sea rather than with him. I can't stay here.
You stay.
No, I won't. I won't just wait here like a fool for him to come up and kill me when he pleases. I'll go down below there with him first and fight it out.
You want out of dive suit? Go waterside.
I don't know. I don't know. I've got to think.
You nothing.
Black fella boy, pump good. Captain needs plenty air down there.
And down below, everything went exceeding fine for Captain Weatherby. In a matter of 20 minutes or less, he had found the strongbox, broken it open with an iron bar, filled his canvas sack with pearls, and was making his way back towards the companionway through which he had entered the ship. The light was getting stronger as he came back. Then suddenly he stopped. A dim form was facing him. A man as tall as himself, clad in a diving rig. and Weatherby was smiling as he thought,
Same type helmet as mine. Same shape. Only other like that is on Fancy Free. What? By all that's holy. Oh, it's the Deacon. So you come down, Deacon, after all. So you're going to dispute the prize with me, eh? Claim your vengeance. All right. I was going to kill you one way or the other. One crack on your helmet with this bar, Deacon, and your eardrums are gone. You'll be just an unfortunate diver who drowned while working. But at least you've proved an adversary worth his salt. Now, I'm moving at you, Deacon. Good. You move too, eh? We're going to fight it hard. Good. A little closer. That's it. Now I'll split your skull.
Oh, set out another bottle of rum, Portuguese. I'm cold clean through to the marrow.
5 days out there at the wreck, and no thanks from anybody.
Not even from the man you brought back? Him? He's crazy as a tick.
Calls himself a deacon, a man of the cloth. Look at him over there, sitting alone at the table, talking to himself. Scripture.
But what of Captain Weatherby? They said you found his lugger anchored over the wreck. There was 2 people could have told us that story. One was a deacon, as he calls himself, and the other a great hulk of a West African, and he went down after Weatherby never come up. You need gear to go that deep.
That bleeding crew couldn't manage a word between the lot of them.
Hold out.
He hideth his wrong in his heart. Let him be snared in his own pit. In the net which he hid is his own foot taken. Lord, break down the arm of the wicked and the evil man.
Oh, poor fool. He don't know what he's about. Mate, tell me, what of Weatherby? They found him down the wreck. The pearls all in a great sack tied to his diving belt. And he was drowned. Drowned? His suit had been cut to ribbons by shards of broken glass. He was drowned for fair, right inside of his suit. But the glass, mate. What was the glass? Oh, a broken mirror. A mirror? It served as a facing for the saloon door leading out of the companionway.
It's like he stopped to take a look at himself. Just that one last time.
Oh. Well, a toast to Captain Weatherby. Rest his soul. The only honest man who came by sea to curse the island.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Adversary by John Russell, specially transcribed for radio by Mr. MacDonald. Featured in the cast were Lawrence Dobkin, John Daner, and Ben Wright, with Alec Harford, Charlie Lung, and Barney Phillips. The narrator was Vic Perrin. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are running through the alleys of a Mediterranean village, the blackness of the Italian night confusing you, while somewhere in the dark behind you, coming closer as they search for you, are a man and a beautiful woman who mean to take your life.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Kathleen Height's story, An Ordinary Man. This Sunday night, Lionel Barrymore opens the doors to the Hall of Fame, turning the spotlight on another little-known drama of American history, whose workings were instrumental in shaping the nation's destiny. Empire builders, dreamers with high ideals, men and women whose pioneering made history. These are the heroes and heroines of the Hall of Fame, starring Lionel Barrymore this Sunday night on most of these same stations. The top dramatic show of them all, the Lux Radio Theater, is heard Monday night on the CBS Radio Network.
Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are searching through an abandoned spaceship, half buried in a landslide in the mountains of Venus.
Well, whatever forced this spaceship to land, it certainly wasn't lack of fuel. Look at all these drums bolted in their racks.
They all seem to be full.
Commander, the ship's moving.
Dirt's giving way. We're sliding down the slope. Run for the next compartment. One of the drums hits us, we'll be crushed. Commander! We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Treasure of Mount Rocob. It's tops, it's tops, it's tops. Yes, sir, Space Patrollers, Rice Chex is tops 3 ways. For taste, for size, for get up and go. So get Rice Chex today. 1, tops for taste. Delicious shredded rice. Oven toasted 3 times to make it 3 times tastier. Yep, tasty, extra tasty, and super tasty. That's Rice Chex. 2, tops for size. Because Rice Chex is made of that modern bite-sized design. Light, fluffy, sunny gold, triple toasted shredded rice biscuits, just the right size for an easy bite. 3, tops for get up and go, you betcha. A nourishing breakfast with Rice Chex, and zip, zoom, you're way, way ahead before you even start. That's why Commander Corey made Rice Chex an official cereal of the Space Patrol. Rice Chex, the cereal that's good with cream and sugar, good with fruit on top, good right from your pocket for snacks. Rice Chex, bite-sized shredded rice biscuits, hollow inside so they can fill up with cream for a super luscious bite. Rice Chex, full of that get up and go, the kind of energy you need to be an honest-to-goodness space patroller like Buzz Corey and Cadet Happy. So remember, Rice Chex is tops 3 ways. Get Rice Chex today. And get Wheat Chex today. Wheat Chex, the wonderful, power-rich Space Patrol cereal made of hearty whole wheat. Bite-sized, too, and what a bite. Wowie, hurry, get Chex today. The only cereals that bring you a free Space Patrol trading card inside the package. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. And now today's Space Patrol adventure, The Treasure of Mount Rocob. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have landed their spaceship in a clearing at the base of Mount Rocob on the planet Venus. Leisurely, they stroll up a rough path overhung with lush Venus vegetation toward a crude cabin built against the side of the mountain. In the trees above them, large squirrels chatter and scold, while gaily plumed birds dart about like streaks of flame among the branches.
Smoking rockets, Commander. What a wonderful place to spend a 5-day leave.
I knew you'd like it, Hal.
I'm sure glad the rain's let up, though. Looks like we'll get in a few days hunting after all.
I'm a little puzzled about Matt, though.
Well, you mean not answering your spacephone call?
Yes, I was afraid at first the heavy rains might have damaged his cabin, but it's all right.
Hey, a real old-fashioned log cabin.
And Matt built it himself with old-fashioned hand tools. No Atomo power saws for Matt Henshaw.
Well, don't tell me he hunts with a bow and arrow.
Well, he's not that old-fashioned. No, if we go hunting, Matt will lend us one of his special guns. There's not even an instant of suffering for the animal, no matter where it's hit. Looks like Matt isn't home.
What now?
We'll go in and wait. He never locks his door.
Smells kind of musty.
It certainly does. Like it's been shut up for some time.
Maybe Mr. Henshaw's taking a vacation.
There's no place he'd want to go that I know of. He has no relatives. Matt must have been gone several days. Look at the dust all over everything.
Well, could he have gone on a long hunting trip? Or farther up the mountain, maybe?
In all the rain?
Well, maybe he left before the rain and got caught in it. A landslide, maybe.
If it were anyone else but Matt Henshaw, I'd say that was a good explanation. I'll check the space phone. Maybe Matt contacted Venus City. Commander Corey calling Space Patrol Headquarters, Venus City. Commander Corey calling Venus City Space Patrol.
Venus City Space Patrol here. Go ahead, Commander.
I'm at Matt Henshaw's cabin at the base of Mount Rocob. But there's no sign of Henshaw. Have you received a message from him?
I have no record of it, Commander. If you can tell me when it was to have been received, I'll check on it.
If he did call, it would have been an emergency.
We've received no emergency messages from that sector of Venus, Commander, except, of course, about the escape.
What escape?
Oh, sorry, sir. I thought you knew. The escape from Criminal Rehabilitation Camp number 2, south of Mount Rocob.
When did this happen?
Yesterday, sir. It happened when some of the men about to be released were called out on special emergency detail on account of the flood.
How many escaped?
Well, just one man, Commander, Hope Sherman. He managed to slip away while the men were building barricades.
Well, Sherman's dangerous. Have they located him yet?
Not yet, sir, but it's only a matter of time. That whole lowland region is a network of wire-filled ravines and marsh. He can't get far.
Unless he had help from outside. Well, right now, I'm more concerned about Matt Henshaw. I'm going to look for him. I'll call you back at 1400 hours.
Yes, Commander.
Hurry out.
Hey, that criminal rehab center isn't far from here, is it, sir?
No, just a few miles.
I was just thinking, maybe Sherman had something to do with Mr. Henshaw not being here.
By the looks of this cabin, Henshaw's been gone for days. Sherman escaped only yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Go on, Hap. We'll work our way up the mountain and see if we can find any trace of Henshaw.
Several miles from the cabin, higher up the slope of Rocob Mountain, two men pushed their way through the brush. Finally, they stopped and gazed at a raw scar of reddish clay where a landslide has spilled down the mountainside into a muddy, turbulent mountain stream.
I tell you, Hoke, there isn't any point going up further.
I say there is. Sooner or later, it's going to be narrow enough so we can cross. Then we can work our way down, far away from the rehab center.
Well, I wonder if they found my spaceship yet.
Yeah, probably. I wish I hadn't landed so far from the center.
How did I know that flash flood was going to cut us off? What a lousy break.
Never mind, Endicott. The important thing is I'm free. We can live indefinitely on this mountain. There's plenty of game. Space Patrol will never think of looking for us here.
Well, suppose the rain begins again.
It'll slow us down, all right, but it'll also slow down the search. Endicott, what from Saturn's rings is that?
What?
That thing sticking out of the dirt where the landslide is.
It's a big sharp rock, I guess.
Rock nothing. It's the prow of a spaceship.
You're right, Hope. It must have crashed in the storm.
Not in this last storm. Look at that hull, how rusty it is. Must have crashed years ago, and the landslide uncovered it.
What do you know about that?
Endicott, this is a break. There's shelter in and probably supplies. We can hold up here for a while if we have to.
I don't like the looks of it. It may slide down into the stream any minute.
Not unless there's a lot more rain. Come on, let's see what's inside the old hulk. Would you look at the design of that hull? They haven't built ships like that in 40 years.
It's an old one, all right. Wonder what happened.
Endicott, hold it. Look here in the mud. Those footprints aren't 40 years old.
You're right. Somebody's been here since the rain stopped.
Yeah, and he's made several trips back and forth.
Hey, somebody's coming out of the ship. I'll bless him when he steps out of the hatch.
Put that gun down, you fool. We're hunters, see? Now, come on. It's only one man, and he's unarmed.
Hold on there. You fellas what?
We're hunting. We saw the spaceship and came to investigate.
Well, there isn't anything to see, just an old hulk that's been abandoned for years. What are you hunting? If it's elk, you'll find a herd farther up the mountain on the west slope.
Thanks. That's what we're after, all right. Elk.
If you head around this landfall, you'll find the going fairly easy.
Thanks.
If you start now, you'll reach the elk herd in time to pick off a couple before dark.
Yeah, well, thanks for the information.
Hey, he acted kind of anxious to get rid of us. What's he up to?
I don't know. But he's got something inside that ship that he doesn't want anybody to know about. He's been lugging it out trip after trip. We'll get out of sight, see what he's up to, and then follow him.
How far is he going to lug that thing?
Not much farther, the way he's staggering.
You're right. He's stopping. Hey, that metal bar must be valuable. He's hiding it behind the rocks.
All right, Endicott, you rush him. I'll stay back here and cover you. I don't think he's armed, but if he starts to draw, I can pick him off from here.
Okay. Hold it a minute, partner. What you got there? I said,
What have you got there?
It's none of your business.
Well, just take a look. Well, quite a stack of metal bars you got behind the rock, mister. It's a lot of trouble to go to, lugging them all the way down from that old ship. Uranium. Hundreds of pounds of it. Why, it's worth a fortune.
Yes, it's uranium. It's mine by right of discovery. But I'll be willing to give you a couple bars.
Well, now, isn't it generous? I got news for you. You're giving up the whole works right now.
Drop that ray gun.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure glad to see you, Commander.
Been worried about you, man.
Hey, where'd that come from?
That was just a warning. Now, you space patrolmen, drop your weapons or I'll blast you apart.
Yeah, that's my partner. Hid up in the brush. And he means what he says.
You do as I say, no one will be hurt. Now, drop your weapons.
Do as he says, Happy. Before we could hit him, he'd mow us down.
Yes, sir.
All right, Endicott, get your weapons and come on.
Why not finish then?
There might be more space patrolmen around. Any more shots would lead them right here. Now, come on.
Who are those men?
I don't know, Commander. Never saw him till a few minutes ago.
The one we didn't see. What does he look like?
Well, he's tall, over 6 feet, black hair. Got a V-shaped scar on his upper lip. Pulls his mouth into a sort of sneer.
Sounds like Hoke Sherman, the escaped criminal from the rehabilitation center south of the mountain.
Hoke Sherman, see? We did get off lucky.
I hope you're right. Oh, Matt, this is Cadet Happy.
Howdy, son.
Howdy.
Let's get to your cabin and get some weapons, and we can go after Hoke and his pal.
Yeah, if you say so, but that'll give him a head start. I've got some weapons up ahead in the derelict spaceship.
The derelict spaceship?
All right, let's go, but take it easy. We won't try to get close to Hoke until we're armed.
Commander, I suppose I better come clean about this stack of polonium back there. I found it in this deserted spaceship. I wanted to be sure no one took it away from me, so
Moments later, Buzz Happy and Matt Henshaw cautiously approached the rusted hulk of the spaceship, protruding from the moist red clay of the landslide. Seeing no trace of the escaped criminal, Hoke Sherman, and his partner, the three men enter the ancient wreck. Buzz runs his experienced eye over the interior fittings, the crude-appearing control panel with its tarnished instruments.
Matt, this ship was at least 150 years old.
Smoking rockets.
I had it figured around 100.
Of course, it's hard to tell how long it's been here on Mount Rocob.
I found it here about a week ago after that first big rain.
It may have been covered up a century or more ago by another landslide. You say you found no trace of the crew?
No. They must have got out after they landed. Haven't touched a thing in here except the polonium. When I saw that stack of shiny bars, I got greedy for the first time in my life. Well, I figured I'd get part of it by right of discovery, but I wanted it all. So I took it out of the ship and hid it. I stayed here at the ship to guard it.
We'll talk about the polonium later. Where are those weapons?
They're back aft in the fuel hold. I'll show you.
Yeah, you stay here at the hatch. Happen I can find the guns. Let me know if you see anyone outside.
Yes. Oh, you better take this atomo light. It's dark back there.
Oh, thanks. Come on, Hap, let's have a look.
Well, whatever forced the ship to land, it certainly wasn't lack of fuel. Just look at all those drums bolted in their racks.
They all seem to be full.
Commander, the ship's moving.
The dirt's giving way. We're sliding down the slope.
Hey, the fuel drums, they're breaking loose. We've got to get out of here. One of those drums hits us, we'll be crushed. Commander! My leg, it's caught. I'm jammed between two drums.
I'll get you out, Hat.
Well, at least the ship isn't sliding anymore. This thing is heavy. What was that?
There's a shot. Somebody's shooting through the hull. Must be Hoke Sherman. If he hits one of these fuel drums, the ship will blow up.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. This is Dick Tufeld reporting on America's most heavily armed fighter interceptor, the Northrop Air Force Scorpion F-89D. In a moment, we'll hear from the test pilot on this plane, Bob Love, Korean jet ace, with a record of 6 MiGs in 6 weeks. Primary job of the Scorpion is to protect our country from invading aircraft. Speed more than 600 miles per hour. Weight 20 tons. Now, Bob Love recorded at Edwards Air Force Base.
You know, a fella has to be in top condition to test fly a fast aircraft such as the Scorpion. And that's why I always make it a rule to sleep well, and eat well. So, for breakfast, I pick a cereal like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They're chock full of energy and really taste good. You'll like them.
No other cereal, puff, or flake contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from Bob Love, Phil Houghton, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. And here's big news. Inside of Chex, you now get a thrilling new Space Patrol trading card. Flip 'em, trade 'em, collect a whole set of 40. Free Space Patrol trading cards inside of Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, the treasure of Mount Rollcab. On Mount Rollcab on the planet Venus, Buzz and Happy rescued the mountaineer Matt Henshaw from two criminals, Endicott and Hoke Sherman. The outlaws, however, succeeded in disarming the commander and Happy and then fled up the mountain. Henshaw then led Buzz and Happy to a wrecked spaceship to obtain weapons to pursue Sherman and Endicott. While the space patrollers were in the fuel hold, searching for the weapons, the spaceship began sliding down the mountain. A heavy fuel drum broke loose from its moorings, pinning Happy against a bulkhead. Now, as Buzz struggles to free Happy, the rusty old hull of the ship is pierced by gunfire.
He's coming awfully close to those fuel drums. I'll get out here in a second, Hap. I can just roll this thing a few inches. Hey, he hit a drum.
It's a wonder it didn't explode.
You're getting it, Commander. That does it, sir. I'm free now.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Uh-oh, he hit another drum.
Fuel spraying all over.
One little spark and we'll blow up the whole side of the mountain. Come on, let's get out of here before this fuel blows up.
Wait a minute, Happy. I don't think there's any danger.
Huh? No danger? What?
If that was fuel, we'd smell it.
Well, what is it then?
Water. Brackish, foul-tasting water.
Yeah, but the metal drums, they all have rocket fuel painted on them.
Yes, that may be a clue to how this ship happened to land on the mountain with a cargo of thalanium. Somebody switched drums.
Yeah, but then something went wrong and the thalanium wasn't picked up.
We'll tackle that mystery later. Come on. Well, Matt, where are those weapons?
They're... Commander, Mr. Henshaw's hurt.
My shoulder. I got clipped by a hook of metal from the hook.
Hope's bullets.
I'll go after that rat.
Oh, wait, Happy. Hope and his pal may be waiting out there to pick us off. Gotta take care of Matt first. See if you can find a first aid kit.
Yes, sir.
100 yards away from the ancient ship, Hoke lowers his weapon and turns to Endicott.
If there is any fuel left in that old hulk, it must have deteriorated.
You probably got all three of them anyway. You sure riddled the hull.
Anyhow, they're scared, and now's our chance. Let's go.
Up over the mountain?
No, down. The way's clear now.
But you said there might be more space patrollers around here.
If Corey had anyone with him, they'd be up here by now. This is our way out. He must have a spaceship down at the base of the mountain. We'll get to it and blast off.
In a space patrol ship?
Sure, what could be safer? It'll at least get us off Venus.
Yeah. We can get another ship later, out in space.
Sure, and on the way down, we can pick up that thalanium.
Are you crazy? The two of us would have to make a dozen trips at least. By that time, Corey might come after us.
If he's still alive, which I doubt. Anyway, there's no risk. One of us will guard the trail while the other lugs thalanium down to the ship. Why leave a fortune like that up in the mountains?
Yeah, it's now or never, I guess. All right, let's go.
Back in the control compartment of the derelict spaceship, Commander Corey bandages Matt Henshaw's wounded shoulder.
Well, it's not a very professional job, Matt, but it's the best I can do under the circumstances.
It's fine, Commander. I figured I got off lucky. You take off after those crooks. I'll be all right here.
No, Matt, you've got to have medical attention. Happy and I are going to get you to our spaceship.
Just how do you think you're going to get me down the mountain? Can't walk. And I'm no hummingbird, believe me.
It'll be a rough journey, all right. Rough for all three of us, but especially for you, man. Now, wait. That stream out there.
Huh?
Flows right down the mountain to within a few hundred feet of our ship. If we can make a raft...
Yeah, but is the stream deep enough?
It's worth a try.
It's going to be some job finding logs.
We'll make a pontoon raft.
Out of what?
We'll empty a couple of those fuel drums and roll them down to the water. And we can lash a few poles to them with ropes.
After 2 hours of strenuous labor, Buzz and Happy assemble their makeshift raft. At last, they carry the injured Matt Henshaw down to the stream and place him gently on the bed of logs and saplings lashed securely to the empty fuel drums. Lifting, tugging, and shoving, they get the raft into the stream and climb aboard.
She rides pretty high in the water, sir.
It's going to be hard to maneuver in case we run into any rapids.
Don't worry about that, Commander. The stream's quieted down considerably since yesterday.
Are you comfortable, Matt?
Yeah, sure. This is real relaxing.
All right, Happy, take that pole and let's shove off.
Aye, aye, sir. Here we go.
Come on, Endicott. Just a little farther.
I don't think I can make it.
Yes, you can. This is the last trip. We'll load the bars and be on our way. Hey, look. There's Corey's ship down there, ready to take us to freedom.
Oh, my leg, my back. This bar weighs more than all the others put together.
Now, forget how tired you are. Just remember we'll never have to do another bit of work the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's right, Hoke.
Hold it. Stop.
What is it?
Down at the edge of the water, I saw something. Something moved. There, you see?
Hey, Space Patrolmen. I saw their uniform. It was Corey and the cadet.
They must have come down the stream.
They'll get to the ship before we do.
Now, don't get panicky, Endicott. One of them's hurt. We can't see him now on account of these trees, but when they come out of the trees, they'll have to cross the clearing to get to the ship. I can pick them off from here. Stay behind this rock and don't make a sound.
Don't miss, Hoke. We're so near to freedom. Don't miss.
They haven't got a chance.
We're nearly there, Matt. Yes, Mr. Henshaw. As soon as we get through these trees, you'll see the ship.
I sure am in a lot of trouble. It's the first time in my life I haven't been able to walk on my own 2 feet. Since I was a baby, of course.
Put your weight on me, Matt.
I sure fixed your lead for you. Some hunting trip this turned out to be.
It wasn't your fault that Hoke Sherman escaped from the rehab center.
Maybe not, but if I hadn't been so careless as to get in the way of one of his bullets, you'd have caught up with him by now.
The minute we get aboard ship, I'll notify Venus City Space Patrol. They'll have search ships all over this mountain region.
Sure, Hoke and his pal Endicott won't have a chance.
Wait a minute. Hold it.
What's the matter?
Look over there to the right. Isn't that a pretty sight?
A bull elk.
Wow, look at that head and those antlers.
He's a big one, all right. First time I ever saw one down this close to my cabin. Well, Cadet, here's your chance.
Chance?
We're downwind of him. He's far enough away to make a fair sporting shot. Well, son, what are you waiting for?
Well,
You came here to go hunting, didn't you?
Yes, sir, but...
But what?
Well, I guess I've got too recent a memory of what it feels like to be shot at.
Commander?
Thanks, Matt. Some other time.
Fine couple of sportsmen you are. Fly several million miles to go hunting and throw away an opportunity like this. I'm proud of you.
Let's get to the ship, Matt.
Sure.
Hey, the elk must have heard us. He's turning his head.
Hit the dirt! You okay, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, there goes the elk, bounding back into the trees. I guess he isn't hit. Hey, who shot at him?
Take a look up there on those rocks. See them through the trees?
Uh-oh.
Sherman.
Right. Lie still, Happy. Slide your gun over here to me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Commander, you don't expect to pick those fellas off with that weapon at this distance, do you?
We can't get much closer without exposing ourselves. Here goes.
I think I know what's the matter, sir. I was in the water over my waist, and the gun got wet. Now, we're in a fine mess. We can't possibly reach the ship.
Happy. Your belt buckle is shiny. It would make a tempting target. Take it off and put it on the end of a stick. Wiggle it around so they can pick up the glint.
Draw their fire, you mean?
Yes, not too often. Just enough to keep them interested. Move around a little, but keep down.
Yes, sir.
Matt, you just lie there.
I think I see them. Something's gleaming among the trees close to the edge of the clearing. You see it?
Yeah, they're watching it.
You only hadn't fired that other shot.
How did I know it was an elk?
Oh, don't get sore, Hoke. I'm only saying it's too bad they were tipped off.
Shut up. I'm going to try again.
Did you get him?
I can't tell yet.
You missed, Hoke.
Corey!
Endicott, hit him! I'll get him, Hoke.
All right, both of you, on your feet.
Okay, Corey. Sure.
Down to the ship, on the double.
Everything's okay back aft, Commander, except that Endicott and Hope Sherman don't look so good.
Evidently, space flying doesn't agree with them.
Well, anyway, not when they're being flown for reprocessing at the rehab center.
How you feeling, Matt? Shoulder okay?
It's dropping a little, that's all.
In a few minutes, you'll be at the best hospital in Venus City.
And we'll see that your thelanium is put in a safe place, Mr. Henshaw.
My thelanium.
There'll be a few formalities, of course, but after 150 years, no one's going to step forward and contest your claim. It's yours by right of discovery. You're a wealthy man, Matt.
Well, the three of us are alive. That's the important thing. Yep, we're alive thanks to the commander's nerve and my dumb luck.
Well, it wasn't all nerve and luck, Mr. Henshaw.
It was luck. Oak hadn't mistaken that elk for us, we'd have been shot without any warning.
Yeah, but suppose we had shot the elk the way we had a chance to.
Yes, you're right, Cadet. That wasn't luck. It was kindness.
Yeah, and the elk was just returning a favor.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. 1, 2, 3 kinds of fun at breakfast time. Space Patrollers, that's what you'll have the very first morning you start eating Chex, wheat Chex, or rice Chex. Because Chex are tops 3 ways, 3 wonderful ways. First, tops for taste. That's Chex, the only cereal that's toasted 3 times to make it crunchy as a cookie and 3 times as good. And second, Chex are tops for size, made in that modern bite-sized design for easy, happy eating. And third, Chex are tops for get up and go. Yes, a good breakfast with Chex gives you the kind of get up and go you gotta have to be a real space patroller. That's what Commander Corey says, and that makes it official. Makes Chex the official breakfast cereal of the Space Patrol. But unofficially, I can tell you Chex are mighty good right out of the box or right out of your pocket anytime you want a treat. Yes, breakfast time or any time, have yourself 3 kinds of fun with Chex, the cereal that's tops 3 wonderful ways. Tops for taste, tops for size, and tops for real get up and go. So go get 'em today. You'll love 'em. Chex, wheat Chex, or rice Chex. The only bite-sized cereals in the entire universe. The official cereals of the Space Patrol. And hey, here's a neat surprise. Swell Space Patrol trading cards. You get one free inside of every package of wheat Chex and rice Chex. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are hiding in the hold of a freighter piloted by a space pirate. Suddenly, waves of heat burst over them.
Wow, where's all that heat coming from?
Refrigeration system has broken down.
And every second we're getting closer to the sun. We'd better take over and change course before we suffocate.
There's worse danger than that in the next compartment.
Smoking rockets. Those chemicals.
Right. If you get a few degrees hotter, they'll blow the ship to atoms.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Strange Case of Space Pilot Prentice, when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Len Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Debris. Other players were Ken Mayer, Bela Kovach, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufel speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.